All right. We are here for a special treat today because this is the King of Battles quarterfinals. We have REYNOR, one of the funnest players out there, playing for Kaiser Gaming. But what makes this series so special is not REYNOR, it's the fact that he's playing Hero. Now, I know Hero doesn't seem to be a player who's picked up as much excitement from the fans, especially on YouTube recently, because I feel like it takes a while for them to like start really realizing, hey, this guy's been in so many finals and so many big matches and so many exciting matches. But he absolutely should be picking up momentum because he is the only Protoss player in the world who's insane enough in a best-of-3 match to not veto Pride of Altaris. Who doesn't veto this map? Only a madman who's like, I want to invite the Zerg to take the gold base. Hero's like, I like to leave my door open and hide behind it so that when a thief walks in, sees my wallet sitting there on the kitchen table and tries to grab it, I close the door slowly behind them. They turn and I'm standing there with a screwdriver in one hand and a mad grin on my face. And I go, come get some, dickhead. This is just, it's insane. It's a really, most Protoss players would say this is so Zerg favored if they get this gold base up and defend it. It's 8 mineral patches. It's such an income boost. Most gold bases on most maps are only 6 mineral patches, so that it's the same overall mining as a normal base, but you only need 4 less workers to mine it, which makes sense, right? It's like, it's still a big boost, but the 8 mineral boost is crazy. And REYNOR, he goes gas, pool, really fast link speed, takes the hatchery. Hero on the other side, his plan apparently involves not scouting. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to play really greedy. We're going to put a pylon here, so probably going to proxy a Stargate there. Could be something else. Could be going like Glaive Adept or something. But already, this is going to be getting off to a wild start. This is a best of 5, actually. Never mind. Sorry, guys. It was not a best of 3. It's a quarterfinal, so best of 5. Had my scoreboard wrong there. Still, this has got to be the map you veto, right? I don't know. Maybe he wanted to veto like a really small map, but I don't... I'm thinking, I'm racking my brain. Blackburn? Maybe he wants to get rid of... No, he probably loves Blackburn as well. Who knows? We'll see. 4 Zerglings going to try to run in here. Hero's actually going Stalker first. So it's Stalker, Stargate, and then Warp Gate. And REYNOR doesn't even get here in time with his Overlord to see that the Warp Gate was delayed. So seeing the Stalker might make him think that it's a Twilight Council build. Stalker's going to keep that Overlord stuck on the pillar. 4 Zerglings there. The probe now comes out. The first scout on the map is Hero scouting at 3 minutes and being like, oh yeah, just checking. Okay, you got a gold base with a lot of workers on it. We need to do something about that. Now, obviously, yes, he does in the long term, guys, because you can see REYNOR's already ahead on the mineral income. Just keep in mind that REYNOR is only on 22 workers versus 30. He's far behind on the workers, and he doesn't have a 3rd hatchery started yet, even though you normally get a 3rd hatchery started by now. So as much as the gold base gives a huge boost, you lose a lot of mining time transferring these workers down here. It slows you down initially, and Hero, who's done no scouting, just played really greedy, is in a pretty nice position. Now, interestingly, Hero is building a pylon down here. Okay, so he's doing a sneaky, like, maybe he's going to build like battery here and use it to take this 3rd base. Stalker is there. Adept comes on down. Oracle. Very good patience with the Oracle. I like that. Yeah, REYNOR's trying to bait him into turning it on, but he's not gonna fall for it. And each time the Oracle comes forward, he has to pull back. Oh crap, Zerglings just walked in the base though. Oh, 5 workers. Oh, big mistake for Hero in this game. That ties up the worker count. Make it number 6. Make it number 7. Ooh, I mean, it was a lot of Zerglings. 12 Zerglings went down. He didn't kill the Adept or the Stalker at the front. But, yeah, you can see the greed of Hero here. Not leaving a unit in his wall. Just very lazy play for him. And REYNOR, he's got that gold fully mining main base. He's going to start putting back on gas, taking a 2nd gas. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Roach Warren. He has a 3rd hatchery coming up now. Proxy Gateway just outside his main base. So it's going to be a 3-gate follow-up here of just unupgraded Adept. So no glaives or anything like that. Nonetheless, okay, Overlord. Oh, he was going to put a Twilight Council down, but now he's like, wait for the Overlord to die and then put it down. So he's going to put that Twilight Council down now. Could follow this up with Glaive Adepts. Maybe just go straight Blink from here and take a 3rd base. REYNOR is still down 4 workers, but look at the income tab. You can see pretty big mineral advantage in the last minute or 2. Oh, I like the way he's using the mobility, though. The Zerglings can't engage the Adepts while the Oracles are overhead. So that creates a pretty good situation here for Hero. Look at that. He could just kill a Zergling or 2, shade away. Probably can't fight the Queens just yet. He's only got 3 Oracles. That's 3 Queens with Transfuse, but they can't Transfuse off creep, remember. So if they go off creep, they will get overwhelmed. And being forced to mass Zerglings right now, while Hero continues to work on that economy, adds a 4th gateway, the Twilight Council. And he's actually decided to start making more Oracles. Hero creating a really awkward disruption in the middle of REYNOR's bases and just saying, hey, I'm gonna be a dickhead, I'm gonna hang out here. And he started to make more glaives upgrades, more adepts, and more oracles. I think at this point, Hero's saying, you know what? If I'm in between two bases that are spread that far, I can just mass adept oracle. Nobody else would think to do this. They'd be thinking, hey, he's got lots of queens, count as the oracles. He's got roaches coming out, count as the adepts. Hero's like, no. The positioning is so good, I can do it. The queens come out, they think they're ambushing Hero. Hero's like, mate, you're ambushing yourself. Oh, call an ambulance, but not for me. Kills 1, 2, 3, 4 queens. Yes, the roaches are killing some of his adepts, but that is massive. He's killed all of the front anti-air. REYNOR thought he was jumping on top of what was a light harassment. Little did he realize your opponent is insane. He's been smoking crack, and he's like, no, I'm gonna keep making oracles. I'm gonna just keep making oracles and adepts. Dummy, you think this is a harassment force? This is my entire game plan. I'm not even thinking about a third base. It's just a YOLO, aggressive play from Hero. Nice counter here from REYNOR, but the oracles, will they turn on those lasers? He's trying to save his energy. I like the patience from Hero. I wouldn't have minded one oracle turning its laser on, but he does have to be careful committing too much. Now, Glaives has finished, so he's got 7 adepts and the oracles, and once again, he's going to set up between the bases and say, yes, roaches beat adepts, queens beat oracles, but can you defend your third at the gold and your main at the same time? Look how far away they are. Which one do you choose to defend? Oh, he's going to shade in. Hero. Questionable decisions with Hero, guys. Questionable decisions. He only loses 1 adept, so it's not the end of the world. Definitely a little bit weird, though. REYNOR's creep is just this piddling little nubbin sticking out in the middle of the map. The adepts are going to shade on past. Overlord's speed is on the way right now. REYNOR apparently wants to go for some sort of queen taxi build. The German taxi has been very common recently. Adept's going to shade in. Will they kill much? Needs to focus fire the drones, Hero. Hero not microing that at all. Does lose an adept for free, but only 1 adept. Remember, the queens don't do much damage. This natural expansion's going down. Hero is answering with his own gold base while killing the third base of REYNOR. Now that, you could argue, is just way greedier than is necessary. At this point, Hero really should just go blink +1 and transition into Blink Stalkers, right? Because if he can just get enough Blink Stalkers and just defend a third, he'll be good. But he's clearly trying to play some fancy metagame shenanigans. The adepts go in, they get a pretty good fight versus the Zerglings. There's not that many roaches and queens here. He's actually killing a lot of Zerglings. If he can get some of these adepts out of here, that would be great. So he does trade against the Zerglings. I don't know how that trade worked out for either side. It looks like the units lost is still in favor of Hero, but Hero, he's about to get hit. Mass Roach Ravager Queen is going to come across this base. Should not be defensible. Hero forcing a Zerg to 2 base. I don't think you need your own gold. Remember that REYNOR's gold is already going to be mining out very soon. He's already lost 1 of the mineral patches. 3 more of them about to run out. Forge is behind this. He's got that second Stargate. What is the play here for Hero? He still has not transitioned into a real fighting force. He's like, I have lasers. I've got 8 oracles with lasers and a bunch of adepts. And I mean, it's not a terrible army with batteries healing it, but as the Roach Ravager count grows, the adepts are going to just become trash as frontal fighting units. And as the queen count grows, the oracles, unless you have enough oracles to completely overwhelm, which is of course a bit of a wild commitment, that's going to get nasty. But he's just making more oracles. It's for mass oracle. Are you kidding me? He's going to try and play mass oracle and just outnumber the queens enough that he kills them. But the queens, they can pick back up into the taxis. So that's one thing, is he doesn't have anything that shoots up. Hero has not a single unit that shoots up. He turns on the lasers and REYNOR just picks up. He says, hey, baited you, idiot. And oh my God, he's now leaving the lasers on. He got baited super hard. Hero's like, well, I turned my lasers on. Once they're on, I can't turn them off. I literally cannot contain myself. I cannot put it back in my pants. He doesn't. Okay, there's one man who doesn't know how to waistband it. It's Hero. He flies into 3 Spore Crawlers and 2 Queens. He has so many oracles, it might not even matter. The drones are in trouble. The adepts are running past here as well, trying to cause some damage. He's going after the Ravagers. On the other side, the probes with a battery overcharge are fighting the Queens. What even are we watching right now? What is this? The oracles are killing every single Ravager. The drones are going down. 1 more Spore finishes, but not for long. The drones trying to get out of there. Most of them have died. The adepts are still alive. If they can get in that main base, they would find a lot of roaches waiting for them. It's not a good idea. Oracles try to jump on these queens. The adepts and the probes trying to take him out. Queens, though, with the creep dropping from that overlord, are so tanky. The adepts and the probes unable to take them down. These adepts coming back. This is not a good fight for Hero. He's still on mass adept. These are a harassment unit. Their best job is fighting lings and drones. REYNOR is only on 26 drones. But you know what? Hero overcommitted to defending this base. If he gave that base up, I think he'd be in a much better position if he just pulled the probes, expanded elsewhere. But Hero, he's ruined REYNOR's economy, but he's also not transitioning into a real army himself. Hero right now is trying to win with harassment units, with cheeky units. I think the Mass Oracle could do it. He is building a Phoenix to shoot down the Overlord, which is hilarious. He's going to build a few Phoenix for that. I think if he goes back into Mass Oracle, I actually don't think REYNOR can do anything. REYNOR doesn't have a Spire. And even if he builds one, Phoenixes beat Mutas, Void Rays beat Corruptors decently enough. Especially with the economy, you know, looking so bad for REYNOR. He's going to deny all the workers on the gold before. He's now trying to kill the gold base. As I said, these Oracles, I mean, they could just kill those Roaches. I think it's worth, and just go back to Mass Oracles here. He's chasing the Overlord. Hero wants revenge. He's like, I want to kill you, bloody queens. I think he should kill a few of these Roaches while they're out here, you know, just take advantage of it while they're in the open. I think he's worried about wasting his energy. Phoenix will chase this Overlord back, but it looks like it will get to safety. Yep, queens will be able to transfuse it. Adepts grouping up. The gold base did fall down third. Finally goes down for Hero. Hero is still not thinking about building real fighting units. He's like, I have 2 harassment units, Oracles and Adepts. I need a third. I'm going to start massing Phoenix. This is not an army. Hero, this is not an army. What are you making right now? He's like, oh, I'm making Oracle Phoenix Adept. It's my favorite comp. Yes, REYNOR's economy is shit, but REYNOR is going Infestors, which counters all of these units. Infestors, Fungling, Oracles, and Adepts is going to wreck them if they ever fight into the Queen Infestor. And he's getting a Hive, so we can add Vipers as well. If he Fungal Parasitic Bombs, it counters all these units. Finally, Hero is like, no, I guess I'll transition to real units. I'll make 2 Robos and charge, but only because I have to. I don't want to do this. I want this to be in the record that I'm only doing this under duress because the Zerg player won't die to Adepts, Oracles, and Phoenixes. Talk about stubborn aggression. It is the secret to Hero's success. It is also what sometimes makes it look like, dude, calm down and transition. And I think this is one of those calm down and transition games. On the other hand, I still give him the advantage because of the mobility. It's just he cannot fight front on, especially as the Infestors are now out and he sees them. The trick is wait for REYNOR to push you and base trade. Adepts, like basically hide some Adepts here and shade them in to kill workers. Keep denying the gold base if you can. Now, he's going to go Disruptors, which is fantastic. Disruptors is the hard counter to the Infestors and the Queens and the Roaches. But what Hero did see, I don't know if he realized, is there's a Hive on the way. And remember, if you're going Mass Oracle Phoenix, these are already units that prompt the best counters to mass low hit point air units, which is Fungal, Parasitic Bomb. So REYNOR's going to go straight for Vipers with this. He has got an awesome anti-air army, but he's also got an army that will deal with Disruptors really well. So Storm and Feedback is actually the better play here, even though Disruptors are so much better versus Roaches and Queens. So it seems like that's the right answer. Hero is actually investing in the wrong thing. Now, Disruptors would be great if he could just get a few High Templar up to defend them from Feedback, but of course he only just got a 3rd base up. Finally, he's been so oversaturated on 2 bases. If he can take a 4th, that'll be great. He's gonna go. He wants the gold again? No. Take this base. Don't be silly. And I like that it looks like he's set up with the air units to play more of like a base tradey style, like more of a run-by style. He just needs to not dive until REYNOR moves out a little bit. He can't just get destroyed by spells. He can't just get, oh, he's going to dive. He could kill the Vipers. If he kills the Vipers, that'd be good. You can tell that right now, Hero, he's got a raging bit of excitement in his Protoss pants. And I think he wants to unleash the beast. He's going to dive. No, the Fungal Parasitic. That's exactly what I was talking about. I knew he wouldn't be able to contain himself. The Fungal Parasitic combo and a lot of his Phoenix die. I'm surprised how well he spread there with no anti-air support. He only lost 3 Phoenix, but the rest are basically useless. And remember, he's got so much Infestor energy. He doesn't mind dropping some Fungals, consumes his buildings, does accidentally kill them. He should not all be consuming off the same building. Use the healthy buildings, man. Use the Evo, split it up, guys. You should always split your consumes up. REYNOR doing some really... No! Oh my god, he manually microed that to stop it. He saved the hatchery with 100 hit points. I thought REYNOR was about to do a complete dumbass move. But you know what, guys? He's got a sick frontal army. And remember, he's got Abducts. And you know he has Vipers, so you need to be rushing to High Templar. You cannot fight this. 5 Vipers? I didn't realize he built 5. He can abduct 10 units. Dude! Every single power unit of Hero will just get wrecked here. Oh, no transfuse available. He does drop parasitic bombs out there. Kills one of the Phoenix, pushes him back. You need a Templar Archives. You need feedback right now. Okay, he's gonna dive in. The oracles will kill the hatchery. He should be able to take out at least some of these spores as well as a lot of the drones. Reynor's economy finally recovered to a pretty terrible economy. And Hero says, excuse me, that's not allowed. We're gonna take it back to Dicktown. Ooh, flying through the spores though, trying to avoid the parasitic bombs. And 2 parasitic bombs on the same target. Bit of a misclick there for Reynor. Not the best way of doing it. But yeah, well played by Hero to kill that hatchery. Didn't get as many drones as he wanted because there's just so many spores. And the spellcasters are a big problem. Right now he's going for Blink and Mass Disruptor. So Hero is kind of doing what he did versus Dark in that series, where he says, if I just have enough disruptors, you can't abduct them all. Now that works versus a guy who has 2 Vipers like Dark and never replaces them and never builds more than them. A guy who's already built 5 Vipers and 5 Infestors, this is not going to work. Hero, get out of there and make High Templar. He's got a Mass Disruptor. If he lands balls, 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 balls! He actually, even the disruptors that got abducted didn't die quick enough. He's landing some pretty damn big balls. Reynor eats a few shots to the face, but dude, the fungal blinding clouds, I mean, he traps so much of the army there. Blink isn't quite ready. And even though Reynor doesn't have that much stuff, his spellcasters are still up. 4 Vipers, 3 Infestors, another parasitic bomb in the air units. He does do a good spread. He loses 1 more Phoenix. Where is that Templar Archives hero? It counters. His whole army is spellcasters. It's Queen, Viper, Infestor with some shitty support units. High Templar! Please! Hero! Hero! Unit counters! Oh, another fungal comes in, a whiffed ball there. I don't know why Hero's pushing in right now. He's got disruptors that are so scary. I think he's trying to catch him while there's no Viper energy, but the roaches are actually killing the disruptors before they fire. There's just no support. Big ball, big ball, big ball. Reynor with a 6 spread. He only loses a single roach there. Overwhelms the army. Reynor here on a gimped economy for so long, down on it. But look at how well he's trading. He is 4,000 resources out of the units lost. 10 minutes of almost pure Protoss economy advantage. But Hero never transitioned into a proper army. He added disruptors, but nothing to deal with the spellcasters, and that is a huge problem. If you're going to ignore the spellcasters, the way that works is you need to play a very charged lot, immortal Archon heavy army. And the reason that works is because you're such a melee heavy, fast moving army, you basically just spread your units out, come in from many sides. Blinding Cloud doesn't do that much against it. And if you're spread out, Fungal's not going to do that much. But when you're using Stalker Disruptor, it's like Abduct just destroys you so hard because it's an army that wants to keep the Zerg at arm's reach. Whereas with Zealots, even if they abduct some Immortals and Archons, well, your whole army is diving on top of them anyway. So they're not even going to kill those Immortals and Archons before the Zealots are all on top of their face. And that's why a Zealot army could have worked if he wanted to play this YOLO style. Stalker Disruptor against a guy who rushed up the tech tree and Mass Viper Infestor. We see that Hero just did not know how to deal with this heavy spellcaster transition. Low economy, not that many good units, but just great spellcaster usage for Reynor. And now he's turtled up, 58 drone, he's adding lurkers, which wreck stalkers. Hero still has a decent economy up in this game, and he could definitely recover, but he's got to make units that aren't just stalkers. Oh, even abducting stalkers. Reynor's like, lol, anything I can kill, dude. Stalkers are not that cheap. I'll grab a bunch of these stalker kills. Heck yeah, my Zerglings don't even have melee upgrades, but this is great value for Reynor, who's been trading so well all game long. And Hero is now going Immortal Stalker up against this lurker army, but with so many spellcasters out, I feel like maybe you go Skytoss. Carriers might be the play. You've still, obviously, you know Reynor's poor. Maybe try to get to carriers. I think Storm would still be incredible here. If you could add Storm and just swap off disruptors. Templar Archives, it's down! And he's building 4 gases at once. 2 gas there, 2 gas there. I mean, if he can get up to that, that'd actually be pretty fantastic for him. The Stalkers are still pressing, but Reynor is up at almost double the army supply. You're on such a timer here. Kills a lurker and blinks away. That's the hero moves that we know and love. And he does see lurkers building up in the middle. Yeah, I mean, he should really just be cement this position with cannons to defend and try to get High Templar and Storm out. Maybe build some more disruptors and protect them with Blink Stalkers sniping the Vipers, but Fungal is going to make that real hard, man. Does trap few of those units. Ooh, 2 of the lurkers go down. Oh, Reynor thinking he's the one who's trapping Hero, but in fact it is Hero who kills some lurkers on the disengaged more Immortals building. But right now the army supply difference is massive. Reynor coming in with 140 army supply versus 80. Hero, he's got a handful of Stalker Zealot. For some reason he decided to build sentries in the late game. God knows why, some random desperation sentries, still no High Templar anywhere on the map. And REYNOR is going to make a miraculous comeback after a messy, scrappy, crazy game, getting just ran over by the Oracles and the Adepts in the early game. But he's able to come back with just 6 spellcaster usage. We see such a rare situation where the Zerg player makes super technical, high-tier spellcasters and plays insanely efficient versus a Protoss player who tries to swarm with basic units and low-tier units. And you know what? Those low-tier units, they're not going to scale that well. Not against a guy like REYNOR, who is a spellcaster expert. Look at that, even fungling the Zealot run by. Zerglings surrounding them. Yes, he loses a few hatcheries, but he's doing so much damage and he's still got a big army on the front. Desperate attempt to defend. There's lurkers there though. Hero cannot take this fight. Still abducting stalkers because he has so much Viper energy. Immortals rallying into the lurkers. It's a pure mess at this point. Random Phoenix killing overlords in the middle. But this is the only fresh base left for Hero. REYNOR keeps the gold hatch alive with a few mineral patches. That hatch is still mining. He did lose his important hatchery in the right side of the map. But you know what? Abducting the disruptors time and again. And that is just going to be a bit too much. He does lift up some of the lurkers out of the ground. But yeah, no, Hero just doesn't have the numbers to capitalize. REYNOR making an incredible comeback in game 1. That is beautiful, beautiful play, dude. 10,000 resources more efficient. And there's 2 things we're going to say. Number 1, where was the transition, bro, for Hero? And number 2, guys, that tells you you cannot be making disruptors 2 at a time versus a guy who already has 5 Vipers. Like, you can overwhelm a guy with 1 or 2 Vipers. You cannot do that strategy. I mean, we saw 12 disruptors die for 1 Viper. That's not how you do it. You need to play... You need to play Storm there. You need to play feedback, and that would have been amazing if he went into more of a charged Storm Immortal style. I think that would have destroyed REYNOR rather easily. REYNOR did not have a super mobile army. Zealot run-bys, Storms, feedbacks would have absolutely smashed. Nonetheless, though, REYNOR, he identified Mass, Phoenix, Oracle, Adept, and he said Vipers, Infestors to counter the air, Roaches and Queens as well on the ground. Just turtle up, survive. If we can take some efficient fights, we can do it. Well, it's not every day that you get that sort of cost efficiency. Well played, REYNOR, you absolute god. All right. Let's go into game 2. We got REYNOR in the top left. Great comeback for him. Hero in the bottom right. So once again, gonna skip the scout. Oh, no, he does have a probe there, of course. Forced REYNOR to take that front base. Now, I want to do a little bit of explaining. I was kind of haranguing Hero there because I got to see everything that was unfolding from a top-down view. I was not the one microing Oracle Adept in 3 places, taking a gold base, and just fighting for my life that whole time. And both players, even though he had the advantage, that was an advantage for Hero. Even though he had the advantage, it's like, dude, it's still, you've lost. Once he committed to the gold base, that was where he really misstepped, because he went too hard on the gold base thinking, oh, cool, I can like just establish a gold. I'll have such a dominant eco advantage. I can swarm you. And who knows, maybe if he went Stalkers, he could have defended it with some Battery Stalker, but the way it was, he kind of got surprised by that Queen drop. And honestly, it's hard to make the call because you see a few Queens dropped in your base and you think, oh, that's not a big commitment. Screw that, but I'll hold that thought. I'll talk about it more in a moment. Pylon, he's getting the block down. Okay, REYNOR. Oh, the Adept's here. Yeah, look at that second Pylon. So even if you cancel the first one, the Adepts have denied the third base. REYNOR's third is going to be denied. He immediately builds 2 Queens in reaction. REYNOR's like, well, I got to spend my minerals on something. Shit. Let's build 2 Queens. Probe gets out of there. The Adept continuing to deny this base. Hero being such a cheeky bugger. All right, he's going to keep denying this base. This is so nice, man. All right, going after the drone. Hello. See, you don't want to be ya. REYNOR dodges it, though. And we'll finally get his third base. Down about 40 seconds late, but he built a few Queens ahead of time to make up for it, which means he can spread his creep a little bit more. So I think this is a really good way of handling an awkward start. On the other hand, this is not Stargate. We've got Glaive Adepts on the way. Keep your eyes on Hero because he's going to be running Glaive Adepts. And guys, there's no Robo. It's a 3-gate glaive, so he's just going to shade Adepts across because it's such a small map. Oh, awesome way to play. Very awesome way to play. He's just going to get straight on in there as quickly as possible. This is very, very sexy. He does add a Robo behind it so he can use a follow-up Prism, but this is not like, oh, I need a Warp Prism with the first wave. So he's going to be moving out probably with his first Warp in, I would imagine. Normally back in the day, I remember Neeb had like a 420 timing where he would arrive, he would shade into your natural at 420 with 6 Adepts or 7 Adepts. I mean, it was a gross build. No one really optimizes the timing that much these days because they're more focused on actually having more probes behind it and a follow-up. But here we go, 6 adepts going across, moving out at 410. It should hit about 430 then. Still a very crisp timing. It's going to force a lot of Zerglings out of REYNOR, make it very uncomfortable for him. To finish my thoughts from before, I just want to say, basically, guys, it's so hard for Hero to actually know what to transition into. And Stalker Disruptor is normally such a solid composition. It was a very peculiar situation that he probably hadn't experienced. Great shade! Zerglings cannot fight Glaive Adepts in the corner, guys. And he's look at that, he's solid on the ramp as well. He's going to try and pick a fight with these Zerglings. Oh, I love this play by Hero. Just picking off as many Lings as he can. He can always shade out of there. And indeed he does. Oh, drones are going to get out, but not before a few of them go down. This is awesome momentum for Hero right now, who's following up with a Warp Prism. That shade was a little bit awkward, but he's getting a lot of damage done on this hatchery. Might be able to pick off the queens. Nice play. Now, REYNOR's on 37 workers, but he's had to pull back to the natural. He's only got 1 gas mining, but now that the roaches are here, that would not be a good shade. So, yeah, I think good choice by Hero to just chill out. Now, he hasn't started mining the gas. He's only on 39 probes. He looks poised to take a third, but of course, the Lings are going to deny that. We do have Immortals on the way, so he's been warping in Adepts still non-stop. I thought Hero would transition, guys, but he really isn't. He's going to try and cancel the shade, starts fighting the roaches. REYNOR's transfuses are on point. He only loses 2 roaches there for, I think, 3 Adepts. So that was actually a pretty good fight for REYNOR, but he did use up a lot of that transfuse energy. Meanwhile, Adepts in the main base going to come in. They can fight the Zerglings, but 4 roaches there as well. Well defended by REYNOR, mate. 3 Adepts do all survive. Another Adept does go down on the front. Third base will not be going up this game. Second Immortals here. And you know what, guys? If he warps in more Adepts in a moment, then we are definitely going to see him commit to an attack. 2 Immortals coming across. Third Immortal building. Still no third base. I mean, it feels like Hero here is just in attack mode. And seeing the Immortals, REYNOR realizes it. REYNOR, he's just built some drones before that. He knows, oh god, stop building drones. Get on gas, make roaches, make ravages, make spines, make ravages, make spines. He knows he just needs to survive. The Adept not quite positioned in the wall correctly. 3, 4 Zerglings shouldn't really be able to do much. But yeah, nice attack with the probes. He loses 1, 2, just 1 probe. 1 probe, totally fine there for Hero. Good handling. And look at this, guys. Oh, so many queens. The mass queen stops him from flying the Prism in. A lot of the time, people want to shade on the top of the ramp and drop the Immortals up there at the same time. As it is, he's forced to fight on the front. These queens are so tanky, man. They are so tanky. Oh, okay, the Bile does get eaten by 2 of the Adepts, canceling the shade, but with the Spine Crawler, the Ravagers there with their Biles, Hero can't force his way in. He does have a third base on the way, though, and remember that REYNOR's economy does suck balls, so you've got to stop leaning into this pressure. At this point, I think Robo Bay economy would be great, or just swapping a blink or charge. He's going to choose charge. Is Hero. His Adepts are still threatening at the front and does defend the third with a handful of units. Immortal drop in the main. Oh, look at that. Gets 2 roaches already. Oh my god, look at how quick they kill stuff. 4 roaches for free there. Only a little bit of damage on 1 Immortal. All the shields will regenerate. Nothing in the wall. Immortal will kill a few of these units. Hero with a quick A move on the probes. And, uh-oh, no A move on the probes in the main. There we go. Does get it. And should only lose, once again, 1 probe, guys. These Zergling run-bys are not being efficient. They're taxing Hero's APM, but Hero's got plenty of that to spare. He did pull the Immortal drop home. He's going charge. He's probing up. But REYNOR did build 15 workers all in one go. And suddenly, he's up at 58 versus 44. And we see the lack of probing on that third. The lack of gas mining here as well, which REYNOR has seen. I mean, if you see your opponent's not mining gas, there's still an Overlord on the pillar. Oh, this is such a mistake for Hero. You need to get rid of that vision. He sees no gas mining. He knows this is basically a 50 probe all in at the most. And the Warp Prism flies into the queens. Oh no, he loses the Warp Prism. He was going for harassment there while planning for what is essentially a massive charge lot Immortal Sentry all in. And oh, dude, and REYNOR knows it's coming. REYNOR's building more spines, more roaches. He's adding a few drones here and there, but he's like, dude, I have so much roach ravager, I can't die. And Hero is playing one-dimensionally, and he just has forgotten about the Overlord that sees that he's not mining gas. Knowing that he's not mining gas, there's no pressure on REYNOR to build workers. He's just like, dude, I'm just gonna make mass army. And because he knows about this so far ahead of time, it's going to be huge. Now, I don't think he was expecting that to happen. He does split his army decently. The Adepts will get in there. He's going to try and Evo block, but the drones block his own Evo chamber. And if Hero just leaves these Adepts here would be the best play. There's not that many Roaches. He tries to shade back to the front. He's going to dive on the army on the front. Some great force fields, but these Queens, such a tanky mass there, making it so hard. Those Adepts go down so quickly. It's 5 Immortals and nothing else. That's a big, scary Zerg army. No Roach speed just yet. So chasing off creep is always a bit dicey when you don't have Roach speed. You see how well the Immortals can gun down the Roaches. But dude, that attack has been held. He's going to keep going. Is Hero. No transition in sight. Because no gas mining, guys. If you don't have gas mining, what do you got? 3 mineral lines, 2 gas? It's a maximum 54 probe all in. And in this case, because he's mined out half of his main, that's a maximum of 46 workers mining efficiently. REYNOR on 50 drones is happy to just survive, take efficient fights. He says most of your army is Mass Zealot, and if I ever kill these Immortals, I just win, because Mass Zealot on its own will not cut it. 1 Immortal falls, a 2nd Immortal falls, another big Zealot wave does flow into the battle. The Prism is very exposed at the front though. The Queens are going to make quick work of that. An Immortal goes down, the Prism goes down just before the Warping is complete. And REYNOR here, despite it feeling like his first aggression went pretty well, the little Zergling backstabs, I think, as well as that Overlord, just gave way too much vision to REYNOR, and so he always knew what the next step was before it even came across the map. Great 2-0 lead for REYNOR. All right, let's go, guys. This is Hero in the top left side of the map, and in the bottom right, we've got Kaiser Gaming's REYNOR. All right, Hero's gonna go straight across the map, once again, blocking the expansion. Now, I feel like both of these games, REYNOR just had too good of a read on what was going on. Now, game 1, I think, is much more like, okay, in hindsight, it's a bit more obvious where Hero should have transitioned. But game 2, I think, is like, he just forgot about that Overlord. He must have forgotten about that Overlord. Feels like it was like a fake gas on the front of his natural, pretending to take it. But then, I mean, he let the Zerglings in, so it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. But yeah, it's you let the Zerglings in twice and you did that. And this is a problem Hero has because Hero doesn't know how to use control groups like a normal human. He uses them in his own way. So he basically F2s like a mother trucker. He is constantly F2ing and just kind of boxing units haphazardly. So it does lead to situations where if someone's consistently enough probing his door, they will find it's left unlocked a fair amount. You know, has anyone ever heard of, what was the name of the game? Like 5-car or 5-door or something? There was some really stupid game where basically as a teenager someone said like, oh yeah, no, it's like a thing. If you test the door on 5 different cars, 1 in 5 will always be unlocked, just randomly on the street. And we tried it a few times and it was actually correct. It happened like, we tried it about 15 cars and 3 were unlocked and we were like, what the hell? I feel like that's kind of Hero's door. But it's more like, it's 1 in 3, you know? You play 3 door. At least 1 in 3 times, if you probe Hero's door, there's just no one standing in the door. Like, he leaves that bad boy unmanned a very unsafe amount of the time. So he's so aggressive in his opponent's face, they usually don't have the wherewithal to keep probing. But REYNOR is so fast and he's so good at constantly checking that his opponent's being honest. Those Zerglings did get in there. And see what was up. Stargate going down in the main base. Very nice. Okay, so it's a very quick Stargate. The Overlord did see no warp gate upgrading, so he can kind of infer it's probably that, unless Hero's being tricky. And is he going to go for the pylon block? No. The Zerglings are like, no, we respect Hero's annoyance. His annoyingness with the Hero's probes and adepts. Immediately chronoing these probes. He is saving a chrono in the main, so this is probably going to be immediate chrono on the Oracle. And no chrono on the second adept though. I still do think because of his rally point, it kind of feels like maybe he'll do a 2 adept pressure. It's a small map, you know, it's a good map to go out and be aggressive with your adepts. It does damage the tumor, not quite able to kill it, unfortunately, for Hero. And Oracle is on the way. I'm cheering for Hero here because I'm really fascinated by how the Protoss builds have changed. I think the big advantage right now for Zerg in the meta is they're kind of doing the same builds and they're just reacting to what the Protosses are doing. The Protosses are still figuring things out. Now, normally, it feels like that favors the players who understand the builds, right? Like when Terran are really good early on a patch, especially on small, medium maps, because the Zergs and Protoss aren't quite used to their push timings. And it feels like that should be the case, yet the Zergs have just been so on top of scouting, at least the top ones have. They're adapting a bit quicker than these Protoss players, and okay, REYNOR a little sloppy here. He's going to lose a drone. He could have lost 2 if Hero was a bit better with his stutter step. Oracle's going to come forward. The Adept's trying to distract these Queens, and the Adept sees where those Queens are. Oracle dancing around. Third base does go down, 3 minutes 48. Now, okay. Diving in the main. Spore's not quite ready, but it looks like finishes. Oh, and a second queen pops right on the dot. Hero just going to play it safe for now. Good choice to pull back, not throw his units away. This Adept, of course, just wedging herself in the mineral line. She cannot get surrounded there. Third gas goes down behind this. I think he's going to play Mass Blink here. Because the third gas, he's going to go Twilight Forge 8 gates into a 4th base normally off this sort of build. So he just needs a bit more gas, but he doesn't want to go the 4 gas because he wants to go for the lots of gateways and then the 4th base pretty quickly. Ooh, I like this. Getting an Overlord would be great. There's not that many Zerglings on the map. With an Oracle nearby, he can't really kill the Stalker. So that's pretty good. Looking great for Hero right now. Reynor does go for a pretty quick lair. That's pre 4 minutes 30. And a Rotron and a second gas straight away. So definitely signs of him being either worried about a big push of Glaive Adepts or something coming out, or something where he needs an Overseer, or just generally setting up for his own very quick tech switch or push timing, right? Fast lair, you can go very quick Spire, very quick Nidus Worm. The Oracle's going to come in. 3 Oracles diving forwards on the north. Ah! Okay, good micro by Hero, but it's a shame he let the Queens get away, man. Oh, man. It does almost get 2 Queens, but not quite. The Adepts are going to come in. I think he should just shade on the Queens with the Adepts, to be honest. You know, try to kill those Queens. Finish them off, bro. Oh, bad shade. Very bad shade. Reynor accidentally attacked his own Creep Tumor for a moment. And you know what? Actually, not that bad a shade. Hero wriggles out of situations where I would assume every Adept would die. Definitely could go for the Queen there, but he's got so many transfuses that Hero's like, screw it. And indeed, another transfuse does tick over here. Few drones do go down. These Adepts are actually doing the Protoss' work, man, for ire. These Adepts are killing 7, 8. Oh my lord, will they get a 9? Yes, they will. 9 workers. This is great damage. Now there are Roaches Lings out. Overlord speed. Oh, Reynor is planning an attack. Guys, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 gas Queen taxi build. Get your defense up right now. Building more Oracles is Hero to defend this, I guess. He's gone 3. He's going to go for 4 Oracles now. He's building double Robo at the 3rd. That's very exposed, and this is a very short map. The Queens are walking. He's not even waiting for Dropper Lords, guys. He's got the Overlord speed. His 2 Dropper Lords have morphed, but they're going to be a while till they get here. He's just walking. Queen, Roach, Ravager, Zerg. It's a 50 drone timing attack. Charge is not done. The gateways aren't quite done. There is a very narrow window where Hero is weak with slow Zealots, Oracles, and only 1 shield battery. He can't give up this base, though, or Reynor will just get way too far ahead on the economy. But he's only got 1 pylon powering everything as well. If that pylon goes down, he is screwed. The Immortals haven't even started. I don't think he can get one out. He's starting 1 Immortal, chronoing it. His gateways are starting to transfer in the main into warp gates. He's going to try and defend this. The Ravagers, though, going for that pylon. He's going to have to heal the pylon. He has to micro heals on that pylon, and the next Bile Wave will take it out. The Zealots making a pretty good account of themselves against the Zerglings. But Biles on the Oracles! Oh, he gets one of the Oracles with the Biles! And the Queens here are doing a fantastic job, even against the battery overcharge Oracles with so much energy. Hero is in trouble. The Immortal will pop out, but with what? An Immortal and a Zealot. The 3rd will get overrun. Oh, he should have built those Robos in the natural. Then maybe he would have had a fallback plan to build Immortals and retake the 3rd on the other side. But as it is, Reynor just catching him off with such a good Queen German taxi move. The Roaches, the Ravagers, the Zerglings. The Oracles are going to go for a counterattack, trying to pull back here as Hero. But remember, on a charge style, you can't just defend behind your wall. You kind of need to overwhelm. That's what he's going for. He goes for the big surround. The Immortal and the Sentry does dodge some decent force fields. The Queens are finally going to go down. As they fall, the Oracles might become useful, but 1 Oracle falls. And there is just too much for Reynor, who, right in the weak spot of Hero, says, yep, you guys are getting way too greedy with how you're going ground. Just because the Queen Walk got nerfed doesn't mean you can play 4 Oracle into charge, double Robo, Immortal, put the Robos out the front, no units warping in, and Reynor finds the weak point in the build. I don't know if he realized how Hero was playing, but I got to go back and look at that, guys, because this really identifies a weak point in how Hero is playing. Remember that Hero here, he's just building 3 Oracles, even builds a 4th, and off what? 2 gateways? He goes charge and +1. And I think this is a really good build for bigger maps, but I really think on smaller maps, you want to go for Blink and Stalkers because they're just better. But I also think there's a big argument about this, and I've actually been discussing this with a few Protoss pros where I'm like, dude, I think if this becomes common, this sort of Queen Walk strategy, which by the way, guys, you don't need Overlord speed. You can do this much earlier on Hatchery Tech with just 4 or 5 Queens. You can push and be hitting at 5 minutes already over here. You just need to bring a drone, cancel hatchery, put down a tumor. I've been doing this a little bit on the ladder with some pretty good success. So I think if queen walks and these sort of strategies become a lot more common, Protoss are going to need to be a little less greedy. I don't think the Twilight Council is that important with a blink upgrade, right? Because you're not actually hitting a blink timing till like 7 minutes 30 or something anyway. So do you really need your blink upgrade, you know, to finish so early? It's more important to get your gateways up, and if you can get maybe 4 gateways even before the Twilight and the Forge, I think you can actually defend this sort of attack with just Stalkers, Sentries, a few shield batteries spread around. But Zealots is always such a fragile one, because until charge kicks in, they're weak, number one. And number two, if you can't match their army size, you're weak. So in this sort of game, where the queens are able to counter the oracles, I mean, just look at the army size. And you can just say, wait a second, yeah, there's Zerglings, which aren't great versus Zealots, but there's more than double the army right now. If you give Hero 2 minutes to make Zealots, a minute, not even 2 minutes, maybe a minute 15, he's going to be okay. He can just overwhelm with Zealots because he hasn't gone that far ahead on the economy. Batteries do help out. But right now, he just doesn't have the critical mass. And that's a beautiful timing attack for REYNOR. And we see how Protoss players, especially on these small maps like Berlingrad, I think are going to need to have some modifications to their builds to play safer. And I think that's part of why Creator was doing so many aggressive timing attacks. We saw Creator versus Rogue in the upper, I think it was the round of 6 of GSL. He basically did the same sort of triple Oracle opening, but then he just went Immortal, unupgraded Gateway attack. Kind of like what Stats did a couple of years ago at Asus ROG when he beat Serral in that famous match with triple Oracle into Gateway Immortal timing. The Gateway Immortal, just unupgraded Gateway timing, no Twilight Council. Doing something like that to preempt a push like this and potentially catch a greedy Zerg off guard, something that Creator, I think, felt more comfortable with, and I think we can all learn from that. Anyways, a crushing win for REYNOR. Absolutely on point. He really adapted to how Hero plays and shut him down. GG, well played.